group, but I had asked you all, hey, what are 3, 4, 5 challenges that you have in your business? And thank you very much for those of you who responded to that. That's hugely helpful. What I found was that like there really were sort of 4 buckets that everything fell into. One of them was technology, of course. One of them was lead gen, shocker. One of them was sort of time management and operations and that kind of thing. And let me pull it up. Speaking of technology. So we've got organization, time management, we've got coaching and accountability was the other one. So I thought I'd spend a little bit of time going through and answering some of the questions for that. But here's what I have on my heart. Really, you know me, I love the interaction. So if you've got something like you would like to participate, I'm going to call a few of you out and say, hey, listen, can we role play this a little bit? Because I think it's really important that you all have some very, very specific context and we have a conversation about this because it's not a one size fits all for many of these things. If you want to raise your hand, Shanna, I'd ask that you be watching this and let's bring some people in and bring them in onto the panel and let's have some real conversations. So let's, I think it's important for me to define what technology is in our space. Technology is a tool, right? It's not a business, right? You're not going to have unless you literally are in the technology business, it's not a business. It's a tool. It's something that we leverage. We leverage it so that we can get more time back, so we can increase efficiencies and we can increase the experience that the consumer is having. That's it. It's just a tool. But knowing how to use the technology is really critical to everything. I keep coming back to this image that David Moraine put up at Gen Blue that said it's not about the plane, it's a pilot, and you know, and as a pilot, right? I totally understand. I'll get you out of that. Great. I totally understand that. As a pilot, you have to know everything about the plane. Okay. And so one of the questions that I got, many questions that I got is, hey, I need to know how to utilize all of the technology, where to find it, how to use it to grow my business. Here's my answer. We're one of the only companies in the industry that has a complete tech stack. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's one login. It starts out, like I'm talking about out at social media land that brings you all the way into the website that has the IDX feeds and the lead gen components that will actually capture a client, and or you can enter the client. That's the CRM that has all of the components that would engage somebody within your database, whether that be CRM or home valuations or campaigns or what have you, that can also then turn into oh, I like that house. Can I get a showing of that house? That can also then turn into a transaction concierge experience that can also turn into the action plans and the consumer portals and the transparency and then the plans for the listings versus the buyers and then the marketing and the support. Like literally it is everything. And again, just like your plane, you may not know what an aileron is today, but you better because it's important to the flight of your plane. You don't use it all the time, but there will come a time that you will use it. So understanding your entire tech stack becomes very, very important. I've got some good news for you. Technology is a tool, is a leverage. Once you learn it, you know it, right? I've got some even better news. Every single person in our organization from a support staff standpoint uses the tech stack and they can help you with all of it. How about that? Video editing. I love this one, right? I've got several in here about video editing and it was hilarious. Hey, how do I do video editing? I've got some other really great news. Shanna knows how to do video editing. There's also virtual assistants out there in the world that are really not very expensive. And if you will batch your work, like that's my pro tip. But Shanna's great at video editing and she can help you with this. If you're really, really committed to video, which listen, I get it. Some of you are committed, some of you are not committed. That's not the purpose of this conversation. For those of you that are committed and you are looking to batch your video production, I think that you can engage a video assistant or a virtual assistant that's a professional at editing and splicing and dicing and turning it into multiple segments and creating reels and different posts and tagging them and doing all of these things very efficiently. And so all you have to do is, my pro tip, batch your videos. And what do I mean by batch? Well, over the course of the week, you're going to have lots of questions that you're going to get from consumers. You're also going to watch some videos and you're going to see some things you're like, oh, that's really cool, or what's going on in the market. Or we talk about the market report as an example, right? It's got all of these different segments in it, and each one of those can easily be one, if not multiple videos. So you batch it. You schedule a day. You say, hey, listen, during this 1 hour period, I'm going to crank out 10, 15, 20 videos, and you provide those videos to your assistant or your support team, your partner, and we help you edit those and post those and tag those and turn that into notoriety for you, right? Like social media is all about making you famous. All right, website, pain point. I made a change and everything moved and changed, and I've not had time to dig back in. I'm asking Santa for Moxie because I heard great things about the website side and would love integrated email drip campaigns with my website. Our current IQ drips are less appealing and I have no way of editing them. Okay, I like this. You're probably not going to like the answer, but I like it. Okay. Great, thanks, Christy. Praying for you, honey. Okay, great. Moxie Presents has been vetted in our organization, and by the way, it's been vetted in a number of other organizations that I'm very close with, and we like it, right? And so we are moving forward with integrating Moxie Presents. Moxie websites and CRM, folks, they're not making the cut. There are countless problems. They are not customizable the way you all will expect them to be customizable. So they're not making the cut. But by the way, your current websites are more robust, more customizable, and they tie directly into your CRM both ways. And the CRM campaigns are fully customizable. So the person that asked that question, here that you just need to learn the technology platform. Okay. And again, we're here to support you. So not only can your AC help you, not only can marketing help you, not only can anybody help you, but there are also a ton of links in the learning library on CBIQ that will help you with all of these deals. But we can create fully customizable products for you that really are, they're better. Frankly, all of the stuff you don't think you can what? Yeah, 100% you can. So there's two different ways to do it, right? So and we're going to dig in a little bit on this in a minute, but you can take, let's just take the newsletter, for example, right? You can take the newsletter and you can make adjustments to it to make it more specifically yours. I do talk later about, hey, don't fall for the trap, right? Like differentiation in an atmosphere, in an environment, in a community of real estate where 90% of the agents don't make it. I would say being one of the 10% is differentiation. Well, let's be honest. The 90% that aren't making it, they're not doing these things. They're not building a list. They're not serving the list. They're not making phone calls. They're waiting for the phone to ring, taking phone calls. They're not doing open houses. When they do the open houses, they're not done properly. Like this is not a super rocket science business. It takes hard work. You've got to put in the time, the intention, et cetera, et cetera. So, but yes, all of the campaigns are fully customizable. And by the way, if you're really, really techie and you think that is just your space and you're going to create a newsletter that is just out of this world, it's going to drive business like nobody's business, well then, yeah, we can teach you how to create your own. It's not that hard. The templates are just not that hard. So, All right. So there's another piece that I'm going to say, and I hate to say this out loud, but your website really isn't that important. So what is important is that your website reflects you. It needs to reflect you so that when somebody is doing the research, and they will do research on you, you are the professional that they can connect with. They can connect through your site, and they look at you and go, oh, this person is a real pro, right? So what's happening these days is people are going online. They're finding you through Google, more specifically Google My Business, right? And other profiles certainly are important from a ranking standpoint. But they hear from their friend down the street who says, "Oh yeah, Sally's amazing," and so they look up Sally, and if Sally doesn't come up, if Sally doesn't have a business page, well, immediately Sally's not very professional. Or if Sally has a Google My Business account, but when you click on the website, it takes you to a site and you can't even tell it's Sally, right? There's no headshot and there's misspellings and that kind of stuff. That's a problem, right? And so they're going through they're doing their recon and then they'll choose to connect with you. But typically they're going to connect with you through the Google My Business platform. So that's it. Your site gives you the ability to create custom pages. I do think this is a really, really big part of your website component that can show you as a professional and a specialist in particular areas. All right, but not only in areas. I mean, do specific neighborhoods and lifestyle posts. And if you like to write, this is a really, really great place for you to create blog posts for yourself that would also show up in Google searches. And that's a great SEO strategy. That's the long game, but it does help with your SEO. But it also creates content for social media posting. And so for whatever reason, Jen Colson just popped in my head, right? So Jen's got 2 daughters, and she's got one who's driving, and one that's very into dance and that kind of stuff. And and she lives in a smaller community. So if she was enjoyed writing, she would be writing about dance and what which are the best driving schools, and what it's like to be a driver in an area where you have snow and having a teenage driver. These are really important things. Now, you might think that that's interesting, like, oh, how I wouldn't even know. Well, it's just her real life, okay? And she might write, about, hey, listen, the people that are looking to buy homes up in this ski area or this golf area, these are some of the 5 top questions that they're asking. Like, you got to wrap it all together. But there's tons of opportunity for you to create incredible websites. It just takes a little bit of time. You got to know what's there. All right, I got to move on. Marketing, again, lead gen. I would love to have a conversation with somebody right now on the call that is struggling with generating leads, filling their pipeline. I have a premise. Over the last few years, all you've had to do is take calls, right? And today you got to make calls. And there are 2 different ways of generating leads. There's the one-on-one, like one action equals 1 lead. That is my SOI as an example. Like, I make 1 phone call, I have a conversation, they decide they're going to buy or sell. Right? And then there's the one-to-many lead strategies. You need both. Okay. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to do this. It's a trick that companies that want you to pay them to generate leads for you use. Why would you waste all of your time making a phone call for a 1-to-1 lead strategy? Well, the answer is it's high quality and high conversion. Why? Well, wouldn't you prefer to spend your time and money in doing this thing and I'll give you 100 leads? Yeah, the problem is of the 100 leads, now I've got to figure out which one is actually worth a darn. Well, they're all worth a darn. Well, yes, but some are worth a darn today and some are worth a darn 24 months from now. I've got to figure out which is which. Again, they're both important, but they're not the same, okay? All right, so you've got to have intentional strategies around filling the funnel. I'm going to say this, some of you are not going to like this either. If you are one of those, hey, 90% of my business comes from my sphere of influence, or you're a referral dominant agent, like where does your business come from? Oh, it's from referrals. You're going to get hammered in this market. plain and simple. You are going to get absolutely hammered. So you've got to have both of these strategies. So it's time. It's time. All right. One-on-one versus many. All right. So I struggle with an automated farm. I'm putting sweat equity into my farm, but would love to expand the process. And I'm struggling to get there because I'm only a one-man band. Door knocking, pop-ups, etc. My geographic farm has dropped off. At first, it was doing great. I got a few listings at the same consistent area. Now, lately, they've used a lot of other local agents, and I've lost a listing recently that I actually presented on to another long-term agent. That was multiple conversations or questions put into one, by the way. Listen, farms are a great one-to-many strategy, and yet it's heavy lifting. I think that what happens is people think, oh, you know what, I can just put something in the mail and it's all good. That is just not how it works. It's important to leverage where you can so that you have more time to do the heavy lifting part that requires you. Okay, so marketing as an example is a great leverage. I get with Shanna. All right, this is the area that I want to do. Great, Shanna can pull the list for you. By the way, what's really awesome about that is that she can pull the list, the mailing list in that neighborhood, but she also can pull the phone numbers so that you can actually utilize this as part of your calling. But anyway, they can pull the list. They can create very custom rotation. You know, we kind of do a 6. Oh, yes, and emails. Yes, AG. Thank you for that. So we create custom 6-piece rotations. Meaning you have 6 pieces that are custom to you, and then they just rotate. Marketing will send out the mail. They'll create your handout. So when you're outdoor knocking, and again, they can provide the call list. So that's pretty amazing. Just saying. Obviously, you need to actually get into the marketplace. So you're going to need to make phone calls. You're going to have to knock on the doors. Yeah, that's farming, right? The farmer does not just simply go out and throw seeds in the ground and comes back 6 months later. That's not how it works. They got to come in and they got to, weed, and they got to till, and they got to water, and they got to fertilize. That's all of the things that you're doing. So you got to be a great farmer. And then when you get the listing, this is super important. I want you to hear me on this. It is so important that you leverage that listing, right? You want to take every possible opportunity to become the authority, the influencer in that neighborhood. And so you've got to do it perfectly. Like, you are absolutely being interviewed. So how are you notifying? How are you signing? How are you marketing? How are you following up? Like, your entire open house strategy is massive. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. But I listen, this is a hard deal. But in order to dominate your your farm, you're going to have to do all of those things. And then you're going to have to ask yourself, hey, listen, if I'm no longer winning in this marketplace, you got to learn the lesson. Right? Is your message on point? Are you serving the list? Are you doing all the things? Are you doing them the right cadence? I might suggest that if you had some success early on, and now you're not having success, you stop doing something that was giving you the success. Somebody else started doing something that's giving them success, or maybe they're doing more of what you are doing and they're getting more success. Like, you got to be honest with yourself. Okay, next question. Finding a way to build exposure in feeder markets, building my brand, building a niche list, aviation, ranchers, marketing, video, mail, blah, 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 blah. Listen, the saying is, build the list and you serve the list. Any group, this applies to anything that you're trying to do, any kind of list, feeder market, specific demographic, geographic, any of these things. You got to build the list and then treat it just like a farm. Again, leverage your team. Right, just like we did with the farming, right? Marketing does all of the mail. They create all of the stuff. And then all I have to do is go out and knock on doors and make phone calls. Great. That doesn't take any time, by the way. What we're talking about here with building the list is the same thing. Build the list. By the way, your marketing team can help. Let me give you an example. I'm an agent. I'm in Vail. I want to target agents in Dallas. And so guess what? Marketing can put a list together for you of the agents in Dallas. What? Yes, they can do that for you, right? Enter them into the CRM. Yes, your AC, your marketing team can also help by entering, uploading those contacts into your CRM. Ta-da! Subscribe them. Yes. Also leverage. Your AC marketing team can also do this. If you want custom content, awesome. They can help work with you to create custom content and a custom cadence that's appropriate for generating leads, right? And then you are the one that has to do the connection, calls, texts, etc. You are the one making those calls. To be the chosen one, you're going to need to build a relationship with these people. You're going to have to be top of mind. You're going to have to be more intentional. That means, when you go to Dallas, as an example, right, you're going to spend a few hours of your vacation going to the offices and having coffees and maybe hosting a cocktail hour and doing things that are going to build those connections, rapport, and authority. If I were you, I'd be going to those markets and I'd be calling the sales manager and saying, hey, listen, in this case, I'm from Vail. I would love to have a conversation or maybe present at your sales meeting, right? Folks, ask your managing director. They would love to have somebody from a feeder market offer to share at a sales meeting. Might as well be you. Just saying. All right, getting listings again. I had quite a few last year. At the beginning of the year, my main win was calling for sale by owners and converting them into listing contracts. The for sale by owners I've called lately don't want to work with an agent, won't even entertain listing, rent again. Yes, okay, yeah. All right, so from a listing perspective, I mean, expireds, for sale by owners, your farms, sphere of influence, past clients. Y'all, like today, the pool of sellers is smaller. The pool of real sellers is smaller. Okay. There are still some people that are thinking that it's 6 months ago, and yeah, hey, top of the market, let's go, and I want it gone in 3 days and that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about real ones. We're going to have to dig deep because there is uncertainty, and the ostrich theory is what many of the sellers are doing. And the ostrich theory is, my house is worth this. I'm not going to listen to anybody else. Just list it, or I'm just not going to list it. Okay. And you're just going to have to ask better questions. You're going to have to dig deeper with your clients, and you're going to have to rule out those that are not real sellers. We've been talking about that with buyers. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. And so what you say really matters now more than ever. So get back to your scripts, get back to your role playing. You've got to really, really practice. Folks, we lead by example. If you doubt this, I challenge you at 10 o'clock every Monday, Mountain Time, walk into your managing director's office, and you will see them on a Zoom call. I'm on it. Every other managing director is on it, and we are role playing. We are role playing scripts and dialogues. So trust me, we lead by example. I promise you. All right, pro tip: the market has nothing to do with you. If you are one of those people who is having a hard time picking up the phone or talking to people about real estate because, frankly, the market is going down and boy, sellers, and they've got less money and there's fewer buyers, and oh my gosh, listen, you have nothing to do with that. Your job is simply to be a purveyor of information and help them to achieve their goals. You didn't make the market. You didn't tell the buyers to go away. You didn't tell the Fed to increase rates. By the way, did you see they increased them again? That's none of your business. So make calls. Okay. Stop worrying about taking them. Start making them. All right. Finding qualified buyers and lead gen. I want an Op City lead, cash deal, close in 2 weeks. Whoever said that, that's fantastic. Congratulations. Yes. If you're not part of the A team, listen, I get that we have to pay a lot of money to Cardis, but y'all, they're free deals. It's free money. It's money you would never have had before. And I can promise you that you have enough time to meet with those people. And by the way, if we do it correctly, every transaction we do turns into 3 more, 5 more leads, and those don't come at a referral fee. All right, that wasn't on my list. All right, so I'm gonna tell you that you need to go back to orphan leads. Orphan leads are all those leads that you have for the last 5, 7, 8 years. They're in your CRM, they're in your email, whatever, and they just went away. They went away because if they're buyers going, I'm just not doing this anymore. This is crazy. Multiple offers. I'm not paying this number. Well, the things have changed. All right, and those orphan leads, they're real. And before you go, oh gosh, interest rates had nothing to do with my deal. Yes, they did. So let me tell you why. If you're in a high-end market and the market just went like this, and everybody's like, oh, they're cash buyers, they're not sensitive to interest rates. Yes, however, don't take this the wrong way, right? There were some people, very smart people, that were like, hey, listen, I don't care. Yes, I've got the cash, but I also know that it's an inflated price. And so I'm going to reserve my money and I'm going to invest it someplace where I know I'm going to get a long-term return on that investment. And so those people are now coming back because you're starting to see a decrease in home values. Okay. So orphan leads, go back to them, ask them, hey, are you still interested in buying? Have things changed enough for you to get back in the market? What are your plans for 2023? Shoot a text, shoot an email, make a phone call, whatever it needs to be, but you're trying to get these people to engage, so make sure it's a question. Requalifying leads, kind of the same thing. Google My Business, absolutely a must, absolutely a must. Get with your marketing department. They will help you create your Google My Business page, optimize it, and they will check the box between 5 and 8 other platforms that are critical to you being found online. So make sure that you reach out to Shanna and the team on that. By the way, you notice that I keep saying Shanna instead of Carrie because Carrie had a baby yesterday, so she's on maternity leave. Deals of the week. I love this strategy. It's every Friday. I send out an email. It's through my CRM. And it's a deal of the week. Again, marketing can provide you a template so that you can come up with whatever. Hey, I'm going to send the top 3 or the top 5. I'm going to send condo, a single family, and a land, like whatever your thing is. But send out a deal of the week. Open houses done right generate a boatload of buyers. Always have, always will. Filling the funnel. This is the next question. I'm having trouble filling the funnel. Effective lead generation. Another person, lead generation, generating leads from home, listings, and getting leads for listings. Every single one of your managing directors will tell you the same thing. You need 5 to 7 lead sources that are intentionally worked every single day, week, month. They are methodically tracked and they are continuously measured. Measured for what? Return on investment. Okay. Again, I mentioned to it before, there are 2 strategies. You have to implement both. 1 action equals 1 lead, and then 1 action equals many leads. At the end of the day, if I were to boil this down to something very, very simple, it's about notoriety. It's about fame. It's about influence. Whatever word you want to use, you need to have more people in your world, in your community, knowing who you are and what you do, and believing that you can solve problems for them. That's it. It is a numbers game. It is blocking and tackling and always has been. Okay. Next one. She just simply said, effing videos. I get it. I totally get it. That is a common one. All right. So I'm going to give you the cadence, all right, and the structure and the process. Number 1, get it on your schedule. Number 2, keep a note. I use Evernote, but my wife uses Notability. Whatever it is, you can use it on your phone. It doesn't matter, right? But keep a note. Write down all the questions that you get asked on a daily basis for that week, okay? And write down everything. Number 3, batch your videos. Don't try to shoot them one at a time. Write out everything and then pick an hour when your energy is best, a time of day when your energy is best, when you are clarity, you've got the time and the space and and batch it. Crush out all of your videos in one swoop, and then give them to marketing. If you have an assistant, a virtual assistant, what have you, you can give it to them. But you do have a marketing. Again, it's all about leverage, right? About leveraging your partner. Give it to marketing, and they'll do the edits and the posts for you. They'll do it all, right? So leverage your time is the last one. Leverage your time so that you can do more of the things that you do. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. All right, open house materials. Folks, we've talked about open houses so much. Marketing will put together everything you need. Everything. It already exists. They will simply throw your headshot, boom, 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 and customize it however you want. You can also work with a lender partner. Lenders need deals bad right now, so they are eager to help in the marketing and putting stuff together. And you have to follow the process. If you don't want to follow the process that I've created or other people in our organization have created, that's totally fine. Build your own, but you have to follow a process every single time. It has to be your calling card. When you list your property with me, this is what happens, and it's so impressive that you want to list your property with me, right? So every single time, not just when you can, every single time. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, period. End of story. Follow it, okay? This is a very, very tactical time in the industry. Again, you've got to be one of the 10%. The 10% work hard. They work smart. They do both. All right. So in advance, this is how the process, if you're going to create your own, what am I going to do in advance? What am I going to do the day of? What am I going to do during? And what am I going to do after? That's the framework for creating any kind of process for open house. What am I going to do in advance? What am I going to do the day of? What am I going to do during? And what am I going to do after? Really creating online presence. We talked about that, right? Online starts with Google and YouTube. Next is social, like Instagram and Facebook. Again, Instagram and Facebook. Well, I'm not going to go into that right now. Once your profile is set up correctly, then you can focus on content, leverage your marketing department. They can work through and help you create all of your profiles in the right places. You got to schedule your posts, schedule them. I love what Chuck Whitehead has done with his calendar. The marketing team has access to that. So if you would like that, please get that, but you got to get it on your schedule, right? How about this one? Schedule 30 minutes every day that you are in social media. And what I mean by that is that 30 minutes is the time that you're going to like, you're going to comment, and you're going to direct message. That's it. 30 minutes, set a timer. Do not go over it. Do not get sucked into the vortex. You can either use social media or you can allow social media to use you. All right. Yeah, I think I mentioned this, but marketing is doing a full online profile assessment and execution. They will create and optimize 8 of your online profiles that are critical to you being successful as a real estate professional. So if you want to know more information about that, please reach out to marketing. What they're doing is pretty amazing, and I've seen they're doing it for my stuff. So, all right, let's jump through coaching and accountability. Well, this one's interesting for me. I have a coach. I am a coach. I believe in coaching, but I also understand that coaching is not the fix. I'm the fix, right? So I have to be humble enough to seek out help, but the coach can't do the work for me, right? Who is our coach in Steamboat? Well, we don't do it like that, Coleman, but for those people that sign up for coaches, we assign coaches, but there aren't coaches that are for specific areas. Anyway, so if you learn from somebody else, I would tell you this, it's priceless. It can literally save 50, 60, 90% of your time and a ton of pain. That said, to achieve great things, it requires great effort, period, end of story. And so if you're looking for that, hey, get rich quick, silver bullet, get it done for you, that's not it, okay? You're going to have to be coachable, you're going to have to be humble, and you're going to have to be committed to doing the work. There's been plenty of times where I've been working with somebody where we have a great conversation, they identify the 3 or 4 things that they're going to do, they commit to it, and then I meet with them the next time and they haven't done them, And then you go, well, what are we doing? Well, now we have another conversation and we identify 3 or 4 other things, but we haven't accomplished anything. That's not coaching, right? That's just hanging out. So I think I'm going to skip it. I think that's where I'm going to end on that deal, right? Somebody else asked, moving from agent to leadership. There's a saying, I think it's a Zig Ziglar, if I remember correctly, and I probably wrote this down right, but do more than you're paid to do, and you'll eventually be paid more for what you do. The idea is that if you want to transition from an agent to a leader, start behaving like a leader. Start offering your services, your insight, your wisdom, your time as a leader. There's lots of areas within our organization that would love your leadership, I promise you. And Sarah has worked really, really hard to create these incredible pathways that are both for agents as well as staff at every single level, so that maybe somebody in, call me, right? Exactly. Sarah says, call her. All right. So if you're an agent or a staff member and you say, gosh, you know what? I really enjoy marketing. Well, guess what? You can talk to Sarah and she has a pathway for you to gain exposure, gain knowledge, gain experience in marketing, so that ultimately you can potentially move into marketing and grow in our organization. You know, folks, when you have an organization that is this large and this diverse, some opportunities come about that just don't exist in other places. So make sure you do that. Motivating buyers. I have a large pipeline of buyers. I am going to spend a little bit of time on this, right? There were several questions about buyers and the motivation. I thought about teaming up with another agent so that I can learn. Again, all about buyers. All right, so there's 2 different pieces to this, right? And it kind of goes back to the whole coaching and accountability deal. There's a saying that says, where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. I believe with my heart, I didn't do this, but I believe in my heart that if I went to Google right now and I said, how do I motivate real estate buyers in today's market? It would have like a 5, 10, 100 pages of different content and scripts, et cetera, about how to motivate buyers. I think when it comes right down to it, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of time in the script world, although certainly there are a ton of scripts, and we have them in your managing directors and your coaches. And this is really a great area for coaching, by the way. So when coaching signups come up here in the next 3 weeks, make sure that you are signing up. Okay, make sure you sign up. I don't know if you wanted a raise, just saying. I have a belief that if you have a pipeline of buyers and they are older than a week old, then 80% of your buyers are not actually buyers. And so you think that you have a pipeline full of buyers, but you don't. And until you are prepared to go and re-qualify them and have a conversation to ensure that they are in fact committed to buying right now, the feeling is that you have all of these things, but you don't really have them. So I like dealing with the facts and the reality. So I would pick up the phone, I would have a conversation with my scripts, my dialogues. Hey, a lot has changed in this market. Are you still committed to buying or selling in 2023? Okay, so that would be it. But at the end of the day, like there are lots and lots and lots and lots of ways for you to develop lead gen strategies for buyers. We talk about a ton of them, but there's some other things that you can do. I mean, like read something, listen to something, hire a coach, sign up for coaching, start a mastermind group. Hey, there's an idea. Right? You know, we were talking about, hey, I want to build these connections with my feeder market. How about this? How about you start a mastermind group with an agent or 2 in each of the feeder markets, and you put them all together and you guys share ideas about generating buyers. There, that one's free. Accountability. I'm competitive. I'm disciplined. I want someone to hold me to the fire in 2023. I have goals, but I need someone who will take the time to meet with me monthly and review, strategize, coach me to success. If I give excuses, I need a hard ass to put me in my place. I haven't found anyone I trust, and most people don't have time. In the end, it takes someone willing to mentor and get to know me and what my goals are and why. There are so many great things in this, and then there's some delusion. So it has nothing to do, first and foremost, with your coach or mentor trying to get to know you. That is not how it works. It is 100% your responsibility to get the most out of your coach as possible. Your coach is there to assess and provide direction and ask the right questions and help you to create accountability, but not to be your accountability, right? You can do mentorship and paid or unpaid. It can be live, it can be recorded, it can be whatever the heck you want it to be or need it to be or can afford it to be, right? Both in time and money. The best accountability in life is self-accountability. If you are, this person right here, if you are already disciplined, then do the work. Do the work. Finish the project. Give yourself a deadline and promise yourself. And by the way, if it's not enough, tell somebody else. So from a coaching perspective, here's me coaching you, right? Hey, listen, if it's not enough, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go tell your spouse. I want you to go tell your kid. I want you to go tell your coworker, right? Make the pain of falling short larger than the pain of doing the work. I'm going to say that again. Doing the work is painful enough for you to consider not doing it, and therefore you need accountability to doing the work. Well, how about this? Why don't you just make sure that the pain of not doing it is more than the pain of actually doing the work, right? Yes, coach can help you, but again, they're not going to create the accountability. It creates the cadence for the check-in. Here's the other thing. You have got to be coachable, folks. You have got to be coachable. If you want to get your big bang out of coaching, you've got to be coachable. You've got to be very, very clear with your coach what it is that you're looking to accomplish. One thing I know is that when you do that, you create an alignment. Your coach wants nothing more for you than for you to be successful. And let's be honest, if you're paying for a coach, they get paid to help people succeed. And so if they can use you as a sort of testimonial or as an example, as a case study, well, then they get paid more. Make sense? So they need you to succeed, but they need to know what it is that you want to accomplish. So I would make sure that you have those conversations. Staying motivated after this year, love this. One of my favorites for sure. Motivation is directly tied to ambition. And I wrote down the definition of ambition here. It's defined as a strong desire to do or to achieve something, typically requiring determination and hard work. Strong desire, achievement, requiring determination, requiring hard work. I think that the reason many people struggle with motivation is that they think that they have a strong desire, but they don't really. They think that they want it bad, but they don't really. They have a plan B. They have an escape route. And I believe that if you want to be motivated, you will figure out what you want to achieve. Like specifically detail, we talked about that, right? Be detailed, right? But then you got to ask the other, why do I want to achieve it? Yeah, I want to make $1 million. Great, why? Because once you have that, once you understand why, and you've asked yourself, what happens if you don't follow this, right? If you don't, well, here's the thing, right? If it's no big deal to fail, then you have a plan B. If failure is an option, you have a plan B. I'll give you an example. There was somebody in our organization that I worked with that could not lose their 20 pounds. They tried everything. They did everything they possibly could. Kept coming back. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. super weird. I kept seeing a Starbucks coffee in his hands, kept seeing that good old Southern food, posts on social media. Can't do it. Don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. You have a plan B. It's not that big of a deal to fail. So we made a deal. We made a bet. The bet was that he lost the 20 pounds, or at Gen Blue, he would go up on stage and he would eat a can of wet cat food. Not the dry shit, the really nasty wet stuff. And some of you are gagging right now. And yes, you should, because the pain of eating the food, the pain of the public humiliation of being on stage, and yes, we got approval to have him on stage. Guess what? He lost 22 pounds. Shocker, right? It's not a shocker. The pain was greater than the pain of doing the work, meaning cutting out the coffees, cutting out the foods, all suddenly became very easy. Starbucks cards, you guys have heard me about that one. Here's one that's really brutal, but you should try it, right? If you're having a hard time, try it. Go to your spouse, and I want you to promise your spouse an anniversary, that you are going to pay for an anniversary trip someplace, right? Be specific. It's a place that you've always wanted to go, right? And it's expensive, and it's going to require hard work. You're going to have to save properly. You have to do all the things necessary. You have to do all the planning, all that stuff, but you got to be able to fund it first. I want you to go to your spouse. I want you to tell them, hey, we are going to go on this trip to this place for this anniversary. That way there's a deadline. You know exactly what it is. Now, you go to work and every day ask yourself, I either do this so that I can get that anniversary trip paid, or I can go to my wife or husband and say, hey, gosh, you know what? I didn't do the work today. I guess we're not going to be able to go on the trip. We'll see how that goes. All right. In other words, burn the boats. All right. Last topic was something that's near and dear to me. Let's see here. Who of you are dealing with time management challenges? We got a couple of questions that were thrown out here. Working 2 full-time jobs, balancing family, health challenges. Another one, follow-up schedule and content. Another one, balancing home, work. Another one, balancing teaching full-time and understanding how my role should look as a part-time agent. I'm a workaholic. I'm not good at protecting my time. I don't have a bunch of money to burn. I need to get going. My biggest concern is scheduling time, taking that time to call prospects. There is a cadence here. There are a ton of people who are struggling with time management. And it's real. I mean, it's the thing. There's a few things, like number one, from a mindset perspective, some of us like to say we're busy. By the way, I'm preaching to me right now. I used to be the person like, how are you? Oh my gosh, I'm so busy. And then I realize every time I say that, I'm telling everybody that's asking how important I am, and I'm also telling them I'm too busy for them. I want you to think about that for a second. You are not too busy. There are people that are busier. Just saying it, right? So then you go, well, how dare you? Well, let's walk through it, right? Multiple jobs, family responsibilities, like all of these things they're real, and we all have them. And the interesting thing is we all have exactly the same amount of time each and every day. So there's a couple of different things. Number one, you have a finite amount of time. How will you use it? Well, I mean, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. I've got to do, okay, well, maybe that's right. Maybe that's not. I think that we have a challenge with how we value time. Let me give you an example. Who on this call knows what their hourly rate is? I'm going to wait for a second. I want to know your hourly rate. $375. All right. So what is that per minute, Adam? So some of you are going, well, how do you come up with your hourly rate? Well, it's actually pretty simple. You say, okay, listen, I want to make X number of dollars, and this is how much time I have allocated to make X number of dollars. Okay. And again, what we do is we do the reverse. Right? Everybody says, well, here's my job, and then I'm going to fit all my other stuff into it. That's not what we do. We figure out our life, and then we work backwards, and we plug in, hey, this is the kind of life that I want to live. And so therefore I'm going to create my work and my fitness and my family and my faith time around it. Make sense? So working with a coach on time management and blocking and schedules, very, very powerful. I'm happy to do it. We do classes and all that kind of stuff. So $6.25 per minute is Adam's time. So let me ask you a question. If your time is worth $6 a minute, I might venture to guess that you wouldn't let many minutes go by without figuring out that you were getting some value for them. Yes? Right? Like, you think about that, and you probably wouldn't spend your minutes doing something that gives you a 10-cent return while you were spending $6 for it. So the value that we put on the time that we have becomes critical, right? So now I have got to look at this, and I've got to say, hey, what needs to get done? I'm gonna walk you through the framework for like how do I determine what leveraged, outsourced, and done by me, right? So I've got to figure out what needs to be done in the real estate space. I'm just going to stay with business right now. There are 5 things we talk about all the time: prospect, appointments, marketing, administrative, and learning. That's it. Okay. That's the 5 things. They all fit in that bucket. So what meets the value of my time? Oh, well, prospecting is high value stuff. Going in appointments is high value stuff. And learning gives me the ability to ensure that I get a return on my prospecting and appointment time. So those are the 3 pieces that are super, super important. Everything else needs to be done by somebody else. Everything else needs to be leveraged to some outsourced function, right? And that's your marketing and administration. In our world, that's transaction concierge, that's marketing packages, it's online lead gen, it's farms, it's, like all of that stuff, right? All of that stuff has got to get done by somebody else because you value your time differently. It's not, it's $6 per minute. Like that's what you got to do. Here's the other thing. If it's $6 per minute, if you've blocked out a 1 hour appointment that won't take you an hour, you just wasted a bunch of 6 minutes. So stop it. Listen. I'm doing something right now where I am driving collaboration groups, and I'm meeting with brokerage owners, and I have literally scheduled 15-minute calls, and people are like, we can't do shit in 15 minutes. Watch me, right? Like, I am on it, and I do it because I know that I can get done if I'm focused and I protect my time. I can get done. Here's a problem that we fall into. Is we're like, oh, well, from a social perspective, we probably are all a little bit starved for social connection. And so we're choosing to use our work as that opportunity to connect socially. Hey, right or wrong, I think it's wrong, but it doesn't really matter what I think. It matters what you think. My point, though, is that if I said, hey, listen, my appointment with this buyer or seller is to identify whether or not they want to really buy or sell and whether or not we're a good fit to work with each other. It really doesn't matter whether or not they like me or not. What matters is whether or not I believe I can help solve their problem, and they believe that my method of solving their problem is the right choice for them. That's it, right? Guess what? Suddenly, my rapport with them is not about liking me. It's about them trusting me. 2 very different things. Well, I can do the trust very, very quickly, right? I have the background, I have the experience, I've got the testimonials, I have the scripts, I've got the dialogues, I've got the plan, I've got the solutions. I know because I have a process around exactly how I'm going to handle that conversation. And because I have a process and because I follow it every single time, I've gotten better and better and better at it. And I have created a condensed version so that now it doesn't take me an hour. I can do it in 23 minutes. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, last one, well, last two, budgeting. I need to be more focused on how I'm spending money, finances, getting the budget in line, et cetera. Listen, coaching is your place. You want to be in coaching for sure. Managing director can help you with that. Listen, it's about tracking and measuring. If you're not tracking, you can't measure anything. You get stuck in this sort of feel real conundrum. I feel like it's working. I feel like it's not working versus the data tells you something totally different. I don't know why it works that way, but it just is what it is. At the end of the day, you want to know that if I spent $1, I got $3 back, right? So tracking is really, really important. We have people in our organization that's all they do. And so we would love the opportunity to work with you to help you set up a scoreboard of sorts so that you can very quickly see, hey, how many properties do I have pending? How many people do I have in my funnel? At what stage of my funnel are they at? So you can begin to become more predictive, right? Remember, there's reactive, there's proactive, and then there's predictive. We want you to be in the predictive space so that you're always way, way ahead of the curve. All right, next one, being so new, it's really hard to tell what is working, what's not working. Yeah. All right, again, we just covered that. All right. Oh, look at that, right on the hour. Folks, the challenges that we all face ultimately are the same. My recommendation to you is to find somebody who has done it before. There are many of us who have been in the business, according to the data, it's 91% of the real estate licensees today have been in the business for less than 10 years. That means that they've only seen an appreciating market. That's probably you. So find somebody, a coach, a mentor, online, follow their videos, subscribe to their podcast, whatever it is, sign up for coaching, who understands what it's like to navigate changing markets. Start to do what they're telling you to do. Be coachable, be committed, hold yourself accountable, do what you say. Always read, always listen, always learn, and always work hard. You will be the most talented. You will be the most hardworking. You will be the one who has the best life, the best marriage, the best fitness, the best faith, the best income. You will be that person. I promise you. But it takes really, really hard work. All right. Hope you guys have an amazing day. And as always, be distinctive. See ya.